guys, welcome to number 2 of HRV-TV, and this is the second edition. And yeah, we just want to I just want to say thanks for the response for the first one, which was really good, man. We got a lot of feedback and a lot of shares, and everyone really seemed to enjoy a good interview with Sam, and really enjoyed the fact that he was a little bit laid back, and yeah, it was good to see. It's good to see what he's like outside of BMX and what he's like in real life. So it was pretty cool. So second one, here's the second one we got today. I've got another really interesting interview. This guy's one of my mates, and I've known him for a long time. The one and only Kamakazi is today's interview, and I'll give him a call shortly and we'll have a bit of a chat. But yeah, this guy's been around for a while, and obviously doesn't race much anymore, but when he did, he was very exciting, and yeah, well, look, mate, he achieved more than a lot of us did in BMX, going to the Olympics, and lived in America, rode for Red Line. So we'll have a chat to Kama and see what he's got to offer. Once again, this show is brought to you by BMX Coach and HRV Fitness. And if you haven't got on to BMX Coach yet, guys, get on there and check it out. It's a great introduction to training and to BMX training, I guess. Yeah, getting faster on your bike and all that sort of stuff. So if you're new to the sport, or you've been in the sport for a little while and you're looking for something different, or you're looking for something that's going to get you in front of the competition and get you a little bit quicker, get onto it. BMX Coach is a subscription at the moment, $13.95 a month. Get your training program, sprint program, all the goodies. So get on there, guys, check it out. BMX Coach subscription, $13.95, and you can find it on the Facebook page, BMX Coach Facebook page. Awesome. All right, well, let's get on to it, guys. Let's give the man himself, Kamakazi, a call. The only man I know who's ever raced in a full Elvis suit. And this guy is pretty awesome. I love him to death. So let's have a chat to Kama and see what he's got to say. Here we are. We got the man himself, the one and only Kamakazi. How you going, boss?
Yeah, good, man. Good.
Yeah, good.
It's to get an invite of, you know, I seen Sam's interview and I thought it was really good, and it's good to shed a little bit of light on behind the scenes. Yeah,
cool. Well, hey, for people who don't know, for people who haven't been in the sport for more than 10 minutes, I'll give you a bit of background. So Kamakazi was obviously an elite rider, rode in Australia, and how long did you do in the States? You were in America for a little while as well?
At least 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Riding for Red Line, and he also one of the first Australians we had go to the Olympics. So one of the first 4 that went to the Olympics. 4 males.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. 3 males.
3 males, was it? Yeah, there you go. And then also won the elite title in Australia about 100 times. How many times did you win the elite title? 3 or 4?
3 times, man.
3 times.
Adelaide.
What was that?
Yeah. All in Adelaide.
That's
all
awesome.
All number 1 in Adelaide. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, funny. I remember first time I met you was at Cairns Nationals, and had no idea who the hell you were. I was like, who's this dude? And they're like, oh, it's Kamakazi. And I just heard this name, Kamakazi. I was like, yeah, okay. And yeah, I got. Was it Cairns? No, it was Darwin, wasn't it? Darwin Nationals. Did I say Cairns? Yeah, sorry, it was Darwin Nationals, and flattest track you've ever seen. And yeah, I managed to get the win that weekend, and so I'm running around all pumped, and I actually come a draw, but I'll claim the win. And I was running around all pumped, and this dude's come up to me after the race going, I'll win it next year, mate. And I'm just like, oh, you're right, you dickhead. And yeah, sure enough, come out and absolutely smashed everyone the next year at Happy Valley. So that's my first recollections of the Kama. What's that?
It was a real cool thing seeing you win the Nationals, you know, and it was you know, quite a showman, and it really opened my eyes on how the sport could be, and just in general, like you build the sport up, and I aim to sort of be like that my whole career, and that was sort of the first time I got to see someone really put on a show for people.
Yeah.
So it's up to anyone. Don't put a microphone in Tony's hand at a race.
Well, it was funny, man. Like, look, I was probably similar. I saw some of the American guys, and you know, I guess when you get a bit of attention being in the elite class. Everyone stops and watches the elite guys. Well, they used to. Then I don't know about so much. Well, I guess they still do now. But yeah, it used to be a big thing, man. Watch the elite guys, and yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was cool being the center of attention back then, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I remember the sport being 10 to 15 guys at similar age. Some guys were pro, some guys were verging on being pro, and then there was sort of camaraderie. The guys that were fast, and when the Olympics come around, it's sort of everyone were dropping like flies and trying to aim for those couple of spots, and it was good. It brought the cream to the top, but the guys that sort of wanted to go, there was nothing left for them afterwards. Once the Olympics come around, that was their last hurrah sort of thing. And
yeah,
I think after the Olympics, for me, I decided that I wanted to take a break for a while.
Yep. We actually lost a few after the Olympics, hey? There was probably a good 8, 9, 10 riders. Then after the Olympics, we lost a few riders, huh?
That's right. There's, there was like Jamie Gray, Glenn Diga, even Jared Graves disappeared after the Olympics. He got on to do his own thing. But it was the big carrot dangling in front, ready to get it, and everyone was sort of going for it. But at that same time, we never had a structure of how to go to the Olympics, and things that Sam's going through now are very tricky. It's very regimented and scientific in most cases, and we never had that thing. And then it was who was at the best. 30 days from the Olympics, I was told I was going to the Olympics, and then there's no time to plan for that. It was all about getting to the Olympics. By the time we got there, we were so burnt out. It was, we're fighting a losing battle. Jared was the only guy that held it together, and, we all know what happened to Luke. It just didn't work for him on the day,
Yep.
But, it was really hard. The whole battle for going to the Olympics was the whole game and not actually competing at the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, just getting there and competing was half the battle, or was pretty much 98% of the battle, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was lucky enough to hang on, towards the end of my career. Like, I was an old guy being 27, and long enough to hold on to actually go to the Olympics. And I think I ended up ranking 12th or something, but that result, I'm proud of it because I got to go to the Olympics and compete. But once you go to the Olympics, like Sam's gone, he understands what it's all about, and now I can see that he's hungry and really wants it.
Yep.
So, I'm back in Sam.
How was the experience? And you touched on it a little bit, but as you've probably done world titles and racing the ABAs and all that sort of stuff. Does it stack up to the Olympics? Like, the Olympics is as crazy as it sounds. There's such an expectation on the Olympics. The Olympics, but yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure or something, is it? Or what happens there?
Each country is really harsh on the athletes, and they expect them all to win. And Australia is no different to anywhere else. And if you're either at the top or you're not, and to succeed, you've got to win. No one, unfortunately, remembers who gets second.
Yep.
I know the guy who got first the last 2 Olympics. I know that. But what I'm saying about it is, at the time, this big, huge show comes around, and you're surrounded by media and hype. But it's totally different to like a normal ABA BMX race. It's like not the hype of all your friends and everything. It's hype of foreigners and the whole world, and you just know that millions of people are watching. It's quite an experience.
Yeah, it's funny because we don't get that normal exposure as a sport. We don't get that. We don't get constant TV cameras and stuff in our faces all the time, and that mainstream media exposure. I think that's the biggest thing I'm looking for. We normally don't get that exposure. And then once you hit the Olympics, people are like, oh, look at this freak of a sport, BMX. Oh, it's a freaky sport with these kids on these kids' bikes and rah, rah, rah. And they forget that, hey, we're professional athletes. This is what we do for a living. And, we train 6 days a week, and, we bust our ass to get to these races.
Oh, yeah. That sport makes you earn everything out of it. There's no real luck in it. To be in a final or to win a final, you have to place yourself there, and it's all hard work. But if there's one thing I can say, the media on BMX, in the Olympics, it's just not cool enough. It needs to be pumped up like a supercross race. It's good to see, previous pros talking about it. Like, I've seen some production with Donnie talking and stuff like that. And I'd rather listen to Donnie than some guy that does a home and garden show. I don't really care for that.
Yeah. I remember that.
was horrible. He didn't know anything about BMX, and then in between the motos and the finals, he's come to our room going, "Hey, Camo, hey, what do you call those? What do you think?" It was horrible, and that's, my whole career I tried to pump the sport, and especially when I got to go to the Olympics, I tried to pump it so that if I left it, it could be, someone else could take over and be pumped. But it just gets, every time I've seen the Olympics, it seems like the ball gets dropped, and it's a little bit saddening because you'd like to see it pumped up and see it on commercials and stuff. But I think that's where Sam's doing great. He's doing commercials and he's all over the place. You see him at bus stops and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what builds it up for kids,
Yeah, for sure. It's like they did all the hard work, but once they got there, they're like, well, we've done the hard work now, and they forgot to finish it off.
I can tell you the one difference with racing in Australia and America is America is professional. Australia hasn't quite reached it yet. It still is mums and dads running the sport, but it's at a different level. It's not it's not run like a business like the guys overseas. Everyone wants to follow the rules here, and unfortunately, unless you break a few rules, you don't really get ahead. So that's how I run my career.
Hey, let's go back a little. Where did it all start from you? Like I said, I sort of bumped into you in 2000 in Darwin. I had no idea who the hell you were. So, where did you come from? Like, what was your background? You did mountain bikes, wasn't it, originally?
Yeah, I did a bit of everything. Growing up, I did equestrian, a little bit of motocross. I started getting in trouble with the law riding my bikes on the road, and they confiscated one for a year. Then I went into mountain bikes. But one of my friends told me that, man, I think you'd be really good at BMX. And by then we were watching videos by like Eddie Roman doing Dead Sailor and stuff. Just watching guys jump to flatland, and I'm like, wow, man. So I built a bike out of galvanised water pipe, welded it together, and I took up the Browns Plains track in Queensland and basically raced, had a good time, just had the best time ever, man. And Mum calls up and, where are you guys? We're at the BMX track. Oh, I told you couldn't be at the BMX track. It's dangerous, rah. I never looked back, man. Never looked back. But I never had the skills that the kids get when they were younger. So I had all this power and strength from all sorts of different sports and I crashed every race. I crashed twice in the final and I won. And it was nicknamed Kamakazi. Like, seriously, people would line the fence and go, here comes Camo, he's going to crash again. And it was a given, it's what I do.
Yep.
But it took me from that point on 10 years to go to the Olympics. That was 98. In 2008, I won all the nationals, lived in America, did all that sort of stuff. And a 10-year career was pretty good, I thought, to get there. It's a funny story, but that's how it worked. And Kamakazi, the name, was only Jamie Hildebrandt's my real name, but if you know me as Jamie, it's like a really old friend.
Yep.
It's so hard to explain my name to people and not be treated like a dickhead. It's so funny sometimes. But,
your grandma loved the name switch, didn't she?
Oh yeah, she's got a rich German heritage, and it was bad. It was not a good thing.
That's awesome. Hey, so let's go back to, you mentioned America there. So you were there for 5 years?
Yeah. Much the same as what Sam said. I built and made, and then Gork was a team guy over there. They really gave me my opportunity, And for anyone who gets an opportunity like that, my advice is grab it by the horns. I went a bit crazy, man, like Hollywood, and it was the first time I got away from home, and I was paid to ride a push bike all around the world, and I lived on the road, and I lived it up. I probably drank and sexed my way across America about 5 or 6 times, and I loved it. I never regretted it. The only thing is you compare myself to someone like Sam, where he has actually done the right thing, and he's used his money for plane tickets and stuff like that, and he's doing the right thing. He's a pro. But, Kaylin, I'm sure, is played up around the tracks, and a few other people come from Australia to America. Not to mention Caitlin's name, but it's just one of them things, it's a growing up experience, and if you can pull the eyes out of what Sam's doing, I'd say everyone would be a better rider.
Yeah. I guess there's more...
Living in the States. Just living in the States, I got to meet lots of people like Jason, experiences, and with him, and he helped me grow up. but by the end of my career, you know, it was sort of, you figure out how things go and you go for it and take the ball by the horns.
Yeah. So that was Jason Carnes, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jason Carnes. He's the team guy in Redline. He drives the truck everywhere, and he's got the shiniest head, and he's got the nicest personality in BMX. If you've ever met him, he's, you know, give you a shirt off his back.
Yep.
But I lived with him. Well, he was actually like my parents. He would clean up after me, and I got hit by a car once in Vegas, and I'm pretty sure Jason wiped my butthole. You know, I think that's what he was just a good guy, you know? Just how we roll, we're buddies.
Is that what happens when you look the wrong way?
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's pretty funny. What you got any good stories from the States? PG ones?
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones. I've been talking to Todd, you know, because Todd Lyons, we could talk over the internet as if it was next door.
Yep.
And I'll mention him because I saw him recently. We're in Moni Trails, I think it's in Chicago somewhere. Jason Carnes, myself, and Todd Lyons were doing a bit of a road trip, and we went to see. And he said, "Yeah, go down to the trails, no worries." But he left out a bit about all the poison ivy or an oak or whatever was around the place. So, anyways, about 5 minutes in, Todd stacks it, endos, and he's like, "My knee," and he's rolling around in the ground like an idiot. Not thinking anything about it. On the way home, he's like, "Man, I'm itchy. I'm all over. I want to get some calamine lotion or something." The only thing he could find that clicked in his brain to use was some bleach. We stopped at a raced inside, grabbed some bleach, and before we got back out of the truck, he's got his pants down, he's been scratching his balls, and he's pouring bleach all over himself. And he's just absolutely burnt all the skin off himself everywhere. It's all over the seats.
Nice.
Good story. There's plenty of them, but it's like, which one do you pick?
That's awesome.
Yeah, good time.
Some dumb shit we do overseas.
Well, you don't think about it at the time, but they, those memories stick with you for your life, you know. And now that I don't race BMX, it's been about 6 years since I've thrown a leg over one.
Yep.
I don't miss it because I know the sport isn't like the way it used to be. It's probably good for the guys that are in it now, more structured and more of a direction. But there's no leeway to have fun for kids anymore. And I'm a big kid, so...
Yeah. Do you think it's harder now than it used to be?
Definitely harder. There's no room for renegades that want to go around the system. If you want to go around it, you get fired the whole way. After the Olympics, I wanted to come back into BMX, but there was no support system for anyone. They just wanted to concentrate on juniors, and I just pushed aside. And I thought, well, you know, I've fought them the whole way once before.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to do that again. So, no, it was funny. Overnight, my priorities changed. I woke up one morning and decided I didn't want to do sprints or gate practice that night, and I'd rather go do burnouts with my buddies down the drag strip, you know, and I haven't looked back.
So now you just do burnouts?
Yeah, do burnouts, chop cars up, just get into a whole custom culture scene, you know. I never had any tattoos until I bloody got into cars. You couldn't see any of that crap.
Didn't your mum say she was gonna kick you out if you got a tattoo?
Yeah, it worked. It kicked me out, all right. That was me back home. But, no, it's one of them things, man. It's, BMX was a great part of my life, and I'd love to do it all over again. I probably wouldn't change anything.
Yep. Yeah, it's awesome. Well, like I said, man, you've achieved a lot more than a lot of us did. You know, like I rode for 30-something odd years and never got to the Olympics, and I never made a world final. So you know, and I think you won a couple more nationals than I did. So it's you did well, mate. 10 years, you've accomplished a lot.
Well, it's good to have still be in touch with people like yourself. You know, like you meet those friends that will be lifelong friends, and I'll catch up with you another year or so.
Yeah.
And you can talk to people as if it was 98 or something like that, and you know what you're talking about. It's fun.
Yeah. So you mentioned what you're doing now. So you've got your own little custom place going now, isn't it? Redneck Customs?
Yeah, no. Well, it used to be Redneck Customs. It's just, I call it Rust King now. It basically revolves around cutting rust out of old school cars.
Okay.
Most of the jobs I do are roof chops and airbags and all the cool custom stuff you see in the old lowrider magazines and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's also a passion of mine, and this is one of the things that I was trying to do while I was racing overseas. I was trying to buy and sell cars, and at the same time, it was drawing me away from BMX. I would have, I have this other passion aside that would tear me away. And being on the road, you can't actually live the normal life. You have to live out of a suitcase for years on end and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And that's what I found. That's what I do now. I work.
But it's cool though. You got a little setup at home, and you get up in the morning, go out in the shed, then
make a bunch of noise, annoy the neighbours, do a couple of burnouts. My life is my puppy dogs and working at home and going out to car shows, and it just revolves around that. And I don't know what could be any better than that.
Have your dogs killed anyone yet?
No one's. Hang on, I'm trying to wait for him.
It's like a horse.
Oh, wait. Hey, buddy. So that one and this one's chilling too.
They're just big, crazy horse-looking things. Remember, I took you to the track once, and that I was mucking around, grabbed you on the arm, hey, and then just like mental, absolutely mental. How about talk to me about your tikis and stuff? Like, I love that shit. Like, you're so arty-farty. Even when you're raiding, obviously you sprayed a lot of helmets and bikes and all that sort of stuff. So
time on my hands, but
yeah,
just don't much,
Yeah.
I did a bunch of people last week, so no, I in the custom culture, they have tiki poles and timber carving and stuff like that, and I'm pretty impatient and like to see results. So sure enough, I get a chainsaw and start carving crazy faces and bodies and anything. I've now got to the stage where if I can picture it in my mind, I can carve it. It's just finding the time to do it.
Yeah.
But all the art, I do lots of painting, and mainly the carving is what I really. That's my relaxation time. Spending a couple of hours a night in an industrial estate, chainsawing away.
That's cool.
Different, but that's what I do.
Do you sell them online?
I sell them. Yeah, I basically sell everything I make. I can't keep any because people just want them as I carve them. And,
yep.
It's weird. People ask me to carve a certain thing, and I don't want to carve it. I just carve them whatever they get.
Yep.
And they pay me money for it. It's good. It's easy. It's actually refreshing to know that someone wants to pay some money for a hobby of yours, which is great.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, man. So do you do any exercise or anything now? You doing any training, or you ride your bike at all anymore, or that's it? None. Done.
I built a squat rack. I started doing bench press, and it's just what's hard about it, I think, too, with comebacks is you remember what you were like at the top level, and if you've taken a break, it takes so much to get back up to there again.
Yep.
There's no way that I could be at the top level without years of training, and I can't race unless I'm going to be number one. So just leave it.
It's hard. It's hard for sure. Hey, what were you doing back in the day, man? Like, I remember just, and I'll go back to Happy Valley, the first year you won the Nationals, and I was probably a bit drunk anyway because I don't know. Back then I was just partying like a rock star because I thought I was amazing. But I remember going up the Happy Valley Nationals, and I was in a moto with you, and I'm like, all right, let's have a crack here. I'll just see if I can see how I go next year. So I've had a crack. I come out of the first turn. I remember just watching you just go, bah! And just like pulling meters on me down the second straight. And I'm like, holy shit. And I actually got back after the race. And I remember going back to Darren Hawkins. And for everyone who doesn't know Darren Hawkins, he'd already won a couple of elite national titles. And I remember telling him, going, dude, I just raced camera. He goes, yeah. I go, holy shit. Like, he's just pulling meters on me down that second straight. And he's like, yeah, man, it's fucked up. It was so funny, man. Like, I was just like, holy shit. I said, all right, well, that's my weekend. So I didn't even make a final that weekend, I don't think. But, geez, I partied hard after it. It was good.
We're always a winner when we party. No, just as far as training goes, nothing was structured. So everyone had their own secret things. And you had some sort of fitness background, as Sean Dwight did.
Yep.
And everyone sort of had their own thing, and everyone was talking about this. But you know what? It was just constant gates, leg press, and sprints, and there's no substitute for hard work. There's hard work, and then there's hard work. I used to ride about 300 kilometres on my 24-inch from home to work every day. I used to stop at Michael Robinson's place and ride in the afternoons, and and then ride home. I used to do an 8-hour day, go to the gym, then go down to Nerang for gates, and I was doing that for months on end. But yeah, remember when I told you I was going to win?
Yeah.
I didn't stop training there to the next nationals, and I killed it in January the following year. I hit the ball running.
Yep.
I hit the ground with the ball running, sort of thing.
Yep. It's funny, isn't it?
Everyone always said, steroids. He was a power lifter. He was that, and I'm like, it's great. It's the tall poppy syndrome. You're either good or you're not. And
yep.
Yeah, I came in and I upset quite a few people, and still to this day I don't care. But I upset a lot of people when I come in, and who is this guy? What's he doing? And I never meant to upset anyone, but it's just the way things happen.
How dare you? How dare you come in and win races?
Well, I've still got enemies now, like I know Jamie Gray doesn't like me, and I know Kaylin doesn't like me, but it just, no skin off my sack.
Yeah. Man, look, you what is it? You can't help what people think of you. Well, you can't control what people think of you, so who gives a shit?
We were all there to race, we were butting heads, and I'm sure it still happens in all other sports, but I still enjoyed that about the guys that disliked me, and it was great to race with them anyways, and even sweeter when you beat them.
Yeah, for sure.
Caleb was the one guy I edged out of the Olympic team. It's probably got a good reason to hate him,
Well, he made it the next one. What's he want?
Yeah, I know.
Come on. No, that's good.
I'm not going to say too much. Caleb's a good guy. He knows how to ride a bike, that's for sure.
Oh, man, look, he had a good crack too, man. Like like I said, he made the Olympics. He rode for Haro for many, many years, and mate, he's another one of the Australians. And it was funny, I was talking to Sam and just mentioning, what's the difference between the Australians and the rest of the world, and how we can just sort of go over to the other side of the country and just dominate. Or the other side of the world, I should say, and dominate. It's awesome.
It is awesome. It's like when you're opening up, back in the day, you open up the BMX Plus, and you're looking at the Randy Stumphouses and the Danny Nelsons, and I came into America when, it was Thunder Dan, Christophe Levesque, Paul Can, Kyle Bennett hadn't even made it big then, he'd just come in. And all of those big guns just sort of dropped off, and then the Olympics. It was good to open up a magazine, see those guys, and then be racing with them the next weekend. It was like a little bit surreal. It was good going there. It lifts your whole... you know how you have a race face?
Yeah.
Well, when you go there, you have a race face plus some.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. I think the good thing too is you get there without any expectations.
Yeah. And there's no pressure. All you've got to do is your best, and before you know it, you're beating people. And when you watch the top guys that win a couple in a row, they just keep winning them because it's the confidence, It works the same at Supercross.
Yep. Do you still pop down to the track every now and then, have a look and have a chat to everyone, or?
I do. Everyone wants to hang around and watch me do flame like that, but what it did is you get your local races and you get your international races, and I want to go to a Friday night and hang out and watch racing, but it's not the same as it used to be. It's hard to watch pilots run around the track.
Yeah, it's changed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different. It's probably something really cool to look up to. But I remember it as being fun and just throwing your leg over a bike and going for a ride and doing bunny hops.
Yeah,
that's what I.
Yeah, it's good fun. Good fun.
Yeah.
I'll while we do this video, I'll pop some pictures and stuff up as well. I'll show a few of your tiki carvings, and there's a photo Warwick put up the other day. And Warwick put up a photo on the magazine the other day from the HRV Classic when you, I think Billy won it, but you're in there in second, and big fireballs and stuff in the background. Like, that stuff was pretty cool.
Man, that's what I'm saying is people like yourself push the sport and make it worthwhile watching, and all these extra things make a great atmosphere. And those days were great. And actually, that particular race, I think I dead sailed over a jump because it was muddy at the bottom. Yep. Billy comes flying past and goes, "I'm going to get you, Camo." I'm going towards the last turn, and he's just come past me and he goes, "See ya," pedals away.
Yeah, the good old days. It was good fun. Awesome, mate. Hey, well, look, thanks for the chat. And mate, good luck with everything in the future, and I hope the business keeps going and flying. And yeah, plenty of tikis. And if you guys are interested in getting any stuff, you can hit him up on Facebook. You got a website we can go to as well.
I'm too lazy, man. Facebook free.
All right, we get on Facebook and yeah, find him and yeah, camera will bang something out for you.
Cool, man.
Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for the chat, and it was good to see you again. And mate, look forward to seeing you. When are we back up there? I'll be there in January again. Oh, actually, no, the Nationals. You can pop down to Sleeman and have a bit of a chat down the Nationals.
Okay. I just will say one thing. I like to live my life vicariously through like Harvey and Sam Willoughby in particular, because he is at all these big events, but also the old school guys through Tide Line. It's good to keep up on what's happening.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I'll try and get hold of Todd for an interview and see what he's got to say. He's a well of information, that guy. He's been around sport for longer than I have, so it'd be awesome to chat to him as well.
Worthwhile.
You're a champion. It was a shame I couldn't bloody beat you when you used to race you. So I'm trying to get you to come back to Masters, so at least I can have another crack at you.
Yeah, a grudge match or something.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm in 30 plus Masters. I'm waiting for you to come back so we can have a rematch.
Just all I know is if you're behind me, man, I'm looking over my shoulder.
Well, I try not to make contact anymore. I don't bounce anymore, so. Hitman. I'll be hitting the ground, man. That'll be about it. Awesome, bro. All right, I'll catch you soon.
Yeah, mate.
Thanks, man.